"She's dead weight." That was the first thing Staff Sergeant Mitchell said when he saw her. No whisper, no hesitation. Just tossed the insult like a live grenade into a silent room. She didn't blink. There she was, Claire Dawson, 5'2" in faded camo, quietly sorting gear at the edge of the yard. No insignia, no rank, just another nobody in logistics at least. That's what they all assumed. Sure, she's not admin staff. Someone smirked, adjusting his rifle like it proved something. What's she here to do? Take roll call. Another chuckled. Claire said nothing. Her pen moved with surgical precision down the supply manifest. Every bullet counted. Every strap checked. Every rifle secured. They didn't see the precision. They didn't see the purpose. They just saw someone who didn't look like she belonged. So they treated her like she didn't. A burden. A mistake. A filler name on a roster. Until someone finally looked closer. Bet she couldn't lift her own pack. Another replied. Nobody bothered to glance at the faint embroidery on her right sleeve. 5 red-stitched tiger stripes, subtle, easy to miss, and yet utterly unforgettable to those who knew what they meant. Lieutenant James Carter spotted them first. He was reaching for a water bottle when he froze mid-motion. His eyes locked on those stripes. He'd seen them before, not in training manuals, not in official briefings, but in blacked-out mission reports and late-night classified briefings behind secured doors. Those symbols didn't show up unless things got very bad. He walked toward her, voice low. "Ma'am, did you serve in Echo Recon?" Claire didn't look up. She simply nodded. "Just once." "Which sector?" "Classified." She said the first word she'd spoken all morning. That was all it took. Carter straightened up like he'd just been snapped to attention. Suddenly, the joke seemed quieter. The arrogance started to deflate. The others were still running their mouths. But Carter, he was seeing something they couldn't. Someone who had been in places maps didn't show. Someone who had survived things others didn't live to describe. Someone who had led when no one was coming to save them. He leaned closer. "Those are mission stripes." Claire gave the briefest of nods. 5. Carter swallowed hard. Echo Recon wasn't just any unit, it was the unit. No medals, no official records, just silent operations that resolved problems before headlines ever printed. He looked at her differently now. Not as dead weight, as a ghost. When Commander Richard Vance arrived for morning formation, the entire yard went still. The man had 30 years of deployment under his belt, most of it unspoken. You didn't earn respect like his by barking orders. You earned it by surviving. His eyes swept across the formation, then stopped. He walked straight to Claire, who called her dead weight. His voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. It sliced through the air like a razor. No one answered. "This woman," he said, gesturing toward Claire, "is Captain Claire Dawson, Echo 5. She led 3 recon teams out of a hostile encirclement in northern Libya in 2016. Silence. "You don't know about that mission because you're not cleared to know. The only reason we're alive to have this conversation is because of people like her." Eyes dropped. Boots shifted. Nobody spoke. Commander Vance continued. "Each of those red stripes represents a mission that didn't happen, at least not on paper. But the results? People got home. Lives were saved. Crises were avoided. That's what she did while you were still learning how to fasten your chin strap." He turned to Claire. "Captain, I apologize. This unit clearly needs to learn what real strength looks like." She said nothing, just returned to her gear checks. After formation, no one made a sound. The mood had shifted like a cold front had blown through. The jokes had evaporated. The laughter silenced. But Claire didn't act any differently. She didn't strut, didn't preach. She just returned to organizing weapons and ammo like she always had. Later that afternoon, a young private approached her hesitantly. "Ma'am, could you teach me how to field strip a rifle?" With my eyes closed. She looked up, noticing the genuine tone in his voice. She nodded. "Show me your technique." He disassembled the weapon slow, uncertain, clumsy. "Again," she said. "This time, close your eyes." "What?" "In combat, there might be no light, smoke, sand, Pitch black. You need to feel the weapon, know it without looking. They worked together for 20 minutes. Then more soldiers trickled in. Drawn by curiosity, "Ma'am, could you teach us too?" She didn't lecture. She didn't boast. She taught one by one. They gathered around, learning the kind of skills you couldn't find in a manual. How to reassemble with numb fingers. How to listen for the sound of a good connection. How to feel resistance and know when something was wrong. These weren't instructions, they were survival techniques, learned under fire. By the end of the hour, no one called her logistics lady anymore. They called her Captain Dawson, or just ma'am. Sometimes they only nodded in quiet respect. That night, after everyone else had gone, Claire stayed behind, cleaning weapons, double-checking gear, as if nothing had changed, but it had. Private Mitchell, the same one who made the first joke, walked up to her. "Captain, I'm sorry. What I said earlier was out of line." She looked up, calm, collected. "You reacted to what you saw," she said. "Next time, ask yourself if what you see is the whole story." He nodded. "Yes, ma'am." Later, Commander Vance found her by the armory. "You could have shut them down early. Why didn't you?" "They needed to learn it for themselves." He smiled, still teaching. Old habits. From that day on, something shifted in Fort Oak Ridge. The loudest voices got a little quieter. The dismissive glances turned thoughtful. The jokes, fewer and further between. Claire Dawson became the unspoken standard. Recruits watched her, studied her, and when one of them stumbled, she'd say, "Try again. Close your eyes. Your hands need to remember before your mind catches up." She never asked for a title, never demanded recognition. But her presence changed the tone of every room she entered. Not because she looked intimidating, but because she moved with purpose. Because she spoke with the gravity of someone who'd learned to value every moment she had left. She had once operated in the shadows, saving lives without ever being seen. Now, she was a teacher. A quiet force of precision, patience, and professionalism. Dead weight is easy to spot until it stands up and carries the team. And the quietest person in the room might just be the one who's been saving it the whole time. If you've ever judged someone by how they look, think again. Because behind every quiet professional, there might be a story you'll never get clearance to hear.